Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you were there? Or struggled to find the right word in a conversation? Maybe you set your glasses down and just minutes later, you're searching the entire house for them. It's frustrating, isn't it? But let me tell you something. This isn't just getting older. Your brain is like a muscle, and just like your body, it needs exercise to stay strong. Brain fog, forgetfulness, that feeling like your mind is slowing down, it doesn't have to be this way. In fact, keeping your brain sharp can be fun. And today, I'm going to show you 6 simple activities that can clear away the mental cobwebs and keep your memory, focus, and thinking skills as sharp as ever. And the best part, these aren't boring memory drills or complicated brain games. These are enjoyable, engaging activities. Things you'll actually look forward to doing. Because staying sharp and vibrant shouldn't feel like work. It should feel like living. Now let's dive right in. Let's start with something that might surprise you. Dancing. Yes, you heard that right. Dancing isn't just a way to move your body. It's one of the most powerful exercises for your brain. You see, when you dance, your brain is doing multiple things at once. It's listening to music, coordinating movement, remembering steps, and adjusting to rhythm. That's a full brain workout. Think of it like this. When you walk or do simple exercises, your body gets stronger, but your brain isn't necessarily challenged. But when you dance, your brain is constantly making decisions. Which step comes next? How do I move to the beat? Am I keeping up with my partner? This kind of multitasking is exactly what keeps your neural pathways active and engaged. And guess what? Science backs this up. Studies show that people who dance regularly reduce their risk of dementia by up to 76%. That's more effective than crossword puzzles, reading, or even traditional brain games. And here's why: it's not just movement. It's the combination of physical exercise, mental challenge, and social interaction that makes dancing a triple threat against brain fog. So if you haven't danced in a while, now's the perfect time to start. You don't need to be on Dancing with the Stars. Just put on your favorite music and move. Try a simple step touch, a little twist, or even just swaying to the rhythm. And if you have a partner, even better. Not only will your brain thank you, but you'll probably have a good laugh too. And laughter, that's another brain booster. Now, let's move on to something that's just as fun but a little quieter. Playing an instrument. Have you ever wanted to play the piano? The guitar? Maybe you used to play when you were younger but haven't picked it up in years. Well, let me tell you, it's never too late. Learning an instrument is like lifting weights for your brain. When you play an instrument, you're activating multiple parts of your brain at the same time. Your fingers are moving, your ears are listening, your eyes are reading music or watching your hands. It's a full cognitive workout. And here's the kicker. Playing an instrument has been shown to actually grow new brain cells. Yes, that's right. Scientists have found that musicians have larger, more connected brains than non-musicians, and that playing an instrument strengthens the part of the brain responsible for memory and coordination. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but I've never played an instrument before. Isn't it too late to start? Absolutely not. In fact, even just learning a few simple songs on a keyboard or strumming basic chords on a guitar can make a huge difference. And if you're not ready for an instrument, try something like singing or even tapping out rhythms on a table. Anything that challenges your brain to process sound, rhythm, and movement at the same time is a win. And remember, the goal isn't to become a professional musician. It's about engaging your mind in a new way, keeping your brain active, and most importantly, having fun. Now, before we move on to the next activity, I want you to take a moment and think. When was the last time you did something completely new? Something outside of your routine, something that made you think, wow, this is different. If it's been a while, that's okay. Because up next, we're talking about an activity that's all about new experiences. And trust me, you're going to love it. Trying something new, it sounds simple, but it's actually one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain. You see, as we go through life, we tend to settle into routines. We eat the same foods, watch the same TV shows, talk to the same people, and go to the same places. And while routine can be comforting, it doesn't challenge the brain. Your brain craves novelty. Every time you try something new, your brain creates fresh connections between neurons. Think of these connections like roads in a city. The more roads you have, the more easily information can travel. And when you don't use them, Well, just like an unused road, they start to fade away. That's how memory loss and brain fog creep in. But here's the good news, you can rebuild those roads at any time. So, what's an easy way to bring novelty into your life? One of the best ways is by learning a new language. Now, I know that might sound intimidating, but hear me out. You don't need to become fluent or even have full conversations. Just learning a few new words each day can give your brain a serious boost. Studies show that people who speak more than one language have better memory, faster thinking, and are even less likely to develop Alzheimer's. And the best part, you don't need to sit in a classroom or memorize long vocabulary lists. There are so many fun and easy ways to start. You can download a free app like Duolingo and spend just 5 minutes a day learning new words. Or, if you're more old school, grab a phrasebook from the library and pick a few words to practice each morning. Even watching movies or listening to music in a different language engages your brain in new ways. And if learning a language isn't your thing, you can still challenge your brain by switching things up in your daily routine. Try taking a different route on your walk, cooking a new recipe, or even using your non-dominant hand to brush your teeth. Sounds silly, but these small changes force your brain to adapt, keeping it flexible and sharp. Now, if you're someone who loves a good challenge, here's an activity that's been scientifically proven to fight memory loss, improve focus, and even boost creativity. Something you've probably done at some point in your life, but maybe not in a while. Puzzles. That's right, crossword puzzles, Sudoku, jigsaw puzzles, brain teasers, these aren't just for fun. They're like weightlifting for your brain. When you solve a puzzle, your brain has to work to find patterns, remember information, and think critically. And the more you do it, the stronger those mental muscles get. Let's take crossword puzzles, for example. When you try to remember a word, your brain digs through your memory, searching for the right answer. That's like doing a bicep curl for your brain. It strengthens those neural pathways so they don't weaken over time. Sudoku is another great one. It might look like just a number game, but it actually trains your logic, pattern recognition, and problem-solving skills. And here's something fascinating. Scientists found that people who do puzzles regularly can have brain function equivalent to someone 10 years younger. But if numbers and words aren't your thing, don't worry. Jigsaw puzzles are just as powerful. When you're putting pieces together, your brain is working to analyze shapes, recognize patterns, and use spatial awareness. It's a full brain workout, and the best part, it's relaxing. You can put on some soft music, sip a cup of tea, and let your mind focus on the pieces. The key is consistency. Just like with physical exercise, the more you do these activities, the more benefits you'll see. You don't need to spend hours on puzzles. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a noticeable difference in your mental clarity and focus. Now, before we move on to the next activity, let's take a moment to reflect. Think about the last time you challenged yourself with something new. When was the last time you really pushed your brain to think differently? If it's been a while, that's okay, because the beauty of the brain is that it can always grow and change. It's never too late. And up next, we're diving into an activity that not only strengthens your memory but also boosts your mood and brings people together in the most wonderful way. You know, one of the most powerful ways to sharpen your mind isn't something you have to do alone. In fact, it works even better when you do it with others. And that's because our brains thrive on social connection. Think about it. When you're deep in conversation, sharing a story, laughing at an old memory, or debating over the best way to cook a steak, your brain is doing some serious work. It's recalling details, organizing thoughts, responding quickly, and making connections. That's a full brain workout, and it's one of the most effective ways to keep your mind strong and clear. But here's something you might not know. There's an activity that combines socializing, storytelling, and strategy all in one, and it has been proven to boost memory, improve focus, and even delay cognitive decline. And that activity is playing games. Now, I'm not talking about video games, though some of those can be great too. I'm talking about classic old-fashioned games like chess, card games, and board games. Let's start with chess. This game is like a mental boot camp. Every time you play, you're planning, strategizing, and predicting your opponent's moves. Your brain has to stay one step ahead, constantly making decisions. That's why research has shown that people who play chess regularly have stronger memory and sharper problem-solving skills. But if chess feels a bit too intense, don't worry. Card games like bridge, rummy, or even poker offer the same benefits. These games require quick thinking, pattern recognition, and social interaction, all of which keep your brain young. And the best part, they bring people together. Whether it's playing with friends, family, or joining a local group, these games give you a reason to connect, laugh, and challenge yourself, all while keeping your mind sharp. And if you prefer something even more relaxed, try board games like Scrabble or Trivial Pursuit. Scrabble is especially great because it challenges your word recall and vocabulary, strengthening the part of your brain responsible for language and memory. Now, I know what some people might say. Oh, I'm just not good at games. But guess what? That's even more reason to play. The challenge is what keeps your brain strong. It's not about winning. It's about exercising your mind in a way that's fun, engaging, and rewarding. And speaking of rewarding, let's talk about something that taps into the creative side of the brain. Because believe it or not, using your creativity isn't just enjoyable. It's actually one of the most powerful ways to fight brain fog. Art. Now, before you say, "But I'm not an artist," hear me out. You don't have to be Picasso to benefit from creative activities. Painting, drawing, knitting, woodworking, even coloring. All of these engage the brain in a unique way. Why? Because when you create something, your brain is solving problems. It's deciding which colors to use, how to shape an object, or where to place a brushstroke. This stimulates parts of the brain that are often neglected in daily life. The areas responsible for focus, hand-eye coordination, and imagination. And here's something fascinating. Studies have found that engaging in creative activities can actually help rewire the brain. That means if you've been struggling with memory or focus, picking up a paintbrush or a set of colored pencils can strengthen those neural connections, improving mental clarity over time. And you don't need expensive supplies or formal training. A simple sketchbook, some watercolors, or even an adult coloring book can be enough to get started. The goal isn't perfection, it's engagement. And here's a little secret. Creating art is also a powerful stress reliever. When you focus on drawing, painting, or crafting, your mind enters a state of relaxation, similar to meditation. That reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, which in turn helps with memory, mood, and overall brain health. And if you're wondering, where do I even begin? Start small. Try doodling for 5 minutes a day. Pick up a coloring book and fill in a page while listening to your favorite music. Join a local art class or painting group. The important thing is to just start. Now, before we move on to our final activity, take a moment to think about what we've covered so far. Dancing, playing an instrument, learning a new language, puzzles, games, and now art. Each one of these activities strengthens your brain in a different way. But there's one more thing. Something that ties all of this together, something that keeps your mind strong, your heart full, and your spirit vibrant. And that's exactly what we'll talk about next. If there's one thing that ties everything we've talked about together, dancing, music, games, art, it's this: curiosity. Staying mentally sharp isn't just about doing brain exercises or memorization drills. It's about staying engaged with life. It's about waking up each day with something to look forward to. Something that makes you think, feel, and grow. And there's one activity that brings all of that together: reading. Now, I know reading might seem like an obvious choice, but it's more powerful than you might think. When you read, your brain isn't just processing words on a page. It's imagining, problem-solving, and making connections. It's putting itself in someone else's shoes, remembering details, and expanding knowledge. All of which strengthen memory, focus, and cognitive flexibility. And here's the incredible part. Studies show that people who read regularly have a 32% lower risk of cognitive decline as they age. That's because reading stimulates multiple areas of the brain at once: language processing, reasoning, and even emotional intelligence. But not all reading has the same effect. If you're only reading short articles, social media posts, or news headlines, you're not giving your brain the deep focus it craves. What really strengthens the brain is immersive reading. Getting lost in a story, following a mystery, or diving into a subject that fascinates you. And if fiction isn't your thing, that's okay. Try biographies, history books, or even books on new skills you want to learn. The key is to read something that challenges you, something that makes you think. And here's a little trick. If you want to boost your brain even more, try reading aloud. When you read aloud, You activate additional areas of the brain responsible for speech and auditory processing, strengthening neural connections even further. Now, I know some people might say, I just don't have the time to sit down and read like I used to. And that's understandable. But here's the great news. Audiobooks work too. Even listening to a book while going for a walk, doing household chores, or relaxing with a cup of tea still engages the brain in a meaningful way. And if you really want to maximize the benefits, join a book club. Discussing what you've read with others forces your brain to recall details, analyze ideas, and form new perspectives, all of which are incredible exercises for cognitive health. But reading isn't just about memory and focus. It's about curiosity. It's about feeding your mind and staying engaged with the world. And at the end of the day, that's what keeps us truly alive. Now, before we wrap things up, let's take a moment to reflect. We started with movement, dancing, which keeps the body and brain connected. We explored music and instruments, which strengthen memory and coordination. We talked about language learning, which builds new neural pathways. We dived into puzzles and games, which sharpen logic and focus. We explored the power of art, which engages creativity and mindfulness. And now, reading, which keeps curiosity alive and the mind engaged. Each of these activities does something different, but they all have one thing in common. They keep your brain active, engaged, and growing. And here's the most important thing I want you to take away from this. It's never too late. Your brain is an incredible, adaptable organ. No matter your age, you can still create new connections, still strengthen your memory, still stay sharp, vibrant, and engaged. So, if you've been feeling a little foggy lately, if you've noticed yourself forgetting things more often, or if you just want to make sure your mind stays clear and strong for years to come, start now. Pick one of these activities, just one, and add it into your routine. Maybe it's dancing in the living room for a few minutes. Maybe it's picking up a book. Maybe it's dusting off an old instrument or trying a new game with a friend. Whatever it is, make it something you enjoy. Because when you love what you're doing, your brain will love it too. And remember, your mind is a gift. Take care of it, challenge it, and above all, keep it engaged. If you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments. What's one activity you're excited to try? I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe for more tips on keeping your body, mind, and spirit strong. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and keep living your most vibrant life.